Mirchi FM is #1 in Singapore.
और किसके सुनिए यार, हमारा एक सच्चा साथी है मिर्ची एफएम लंबा साथी.
I love Mirchi FM. It's so hot.
देखे में लाल लाल, खाए में हाय हाय. Tangi taupo में Mirchi FM is hot.
Here at Rugby Town, Singatoka, love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM is #1 in Suva. It's hot.
हम इंग्लिश लंबासा में रहता है तो क्या बताइए, हम मिर्ची एफएम सुनता है.
Mirchi FM, बहुत जुलूम जुलूम.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
In this bulletin, Mahendra Chaudhry is still FLP leader. Methodist Church draws the line on politics. And Fiji Airways makes more profit. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. There's been no change in the leadership of the Fiji Labour Party. FLP President Lavinia Padarath has confirmed to FBC News that Mahendra Chaudhry remains the party leader despite being convicted by the Suva High Court. Our news team approached Padarath outside the elections office where Chaudhry was notably absent from an all-party briefing with the Electoral Commission.
If he's not here today, he's got other commitments to attend to. So we share the responsibility of the Labour Party with business to be done. So there were two of us here today.
At the moment you are running the administration of the Fiji Labour Party?
No, we're all there. We're still all there. Nothing has changed, if you might, you need to know. Nothing has changed. In the office is still very much there. Okay, well, I think we don't want to preempt anything. We have to await the 1st of May.
When questioned about Mahendra Chaudhry being ineligible to contest the 2014 elections, Padarath says they are aware of the law and will make a statement after Chaudhry's sentencing. Offensive comments made on social media against the judiciary by Labour leader Mahendra Chaudhry's son Rajendra are being studied for possible defamation and contempt of court by the Fijian government. Self-exiled Rajendra Chaudhry, who left for Australia after getting suspended as a lawyer in Fiji, frequently posts offensive Facebook comments against many Fijians, including members of the government. His latest attack is against the judge who presided over his father's conviction last week. Chanel Sivan with this exclusive report.
FBC News came across Rajendra Chaudhry's recent Facebook post in which the suspended lawyer not only questions Justice Paul Madigan's independence but also accuses the judge who convicted his father last week of bias and making wrong legal decisions. The self-exiled Chaudhry also uses abusive language against the judge and accuses him of judicial misconduct.
Criticizing a judge or that judge's abilities or that judge's integrity in a public way, in a way that the law says is calculated to lower his authority in the minds of the public, then you may well have a contempt of court issue on your hands.
There is no jail term for contempt. It's the courts that decides on the sentence. The Attorney General's office is for the first time studying how to deal with such offences committed on social media sites.
The law regarding proceedings emanating from comments made in social media has of course developed in recent times. So we are currently studying that. Of course it is always the responsibility of the Attorney General to ensure that the integrity of the judiciary is not in any way maligned.
There has been a recent successful conviction in a similar case in Australia this year. The Sydney Morning Herald reported the case of a New South Wales school teacher who took a former student to court for defaming her on Facebook and Twitter. The court ordered the student to pay $105,000 for defaming her.
Whether there is contempt or not, obviously at the end of the day that's decided by the courts. Whether there will be a contempt proceedings initiated by this office, we obviously are studying that at the moment, and we'll see what happens.
Contempt of court is somewhere in between criminal and civil. It's generally regarded as a criminal offence. You can be imprisoned for it, and indeed the default penalty for contempt of court is imprisonment, although it's often substituted with something different. But it's actually brought by way of civil proceedings.
If the recent Australian case is anything to go by, there could be soon convictions in Fiji relating to defamation, contempt and slander relating to comments made on social media. It's now up to the law to decide how to deal with the lawyer who was suspended for professional misconduct for 5 years.
There have been cases on contempt of court in Fiji for the last 40 years. I think about the most famous one many years ago was against a politician called Vijay Pamanandan. Mr. Mahendra Chaudhary, Rajendra Chaudhary's father, was in fact prosecuted and dealt with for contempt of court.
Interestingly, there are also aspiring political candidates showing supportive comments on Chaudhary's Facebook page. If and how this issue will be dealt with is something that the law will be looking at. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The Methodist Church of Fiji has clarified its policy regarding church office holders who want to stand for election. The church has issued a statement clearly outlining what potential election candidates in the church can do or can't do. Rashika Kumar reports.
Any member willing to be a candidate for the upcoming elections for any party or even independently will need to relinquish their position in the church.
To clarify that now is people are now starting to put their hand up for elections, join certain parties, indicate that they would like to stand in elections, and we're doing that so that the church does not face any undue influence from any political party within our structure or our system.
The church is also encouraging its members to stand in the upcoming elections.
Any of our members who wish to stand in the elections are free to do so. In fact, we encourage that. But what we are saying is, if you want to stand in the elections, you need to make a choice about whether you want to have a position in government or as a candidate for the elections, or you want to have a role in the church.
According to the Reverend, this new church policy will allow accountability and transparency within the church. Lay members are also not allowed to talk about party manifestos or campaign during any church function. Rashika Kumar, FBC News.
Fiji Airways has reported a group profit of $14.5 million for the last 9 months of 2013. This is the third consecutive year for the company to record a major profit, having suffered back-to-back losses in 2009 and 2010. Christopher Chand reports this healthy financial trend is a promising sign for our national airline.
The financial results of the Air Pacific Group, which compromises of Fiji Airways, Pacific Sun and its shares in the Sofitel Fiji Resort and Spa, has recorded an impressive after-tax profit of $14.5 million made between April and December last year. This 9-month figure compares extremely well against the $17.8 million made over a 12-month period previously. Minister for Public Enterprise, Ayasaid Kayum, says not too long ago, few believed the airline could even survive. Board Chairman Nalin Patel says 2013 was a major transition year for the airline, with a rebranding to Fiji Airways and the arrival of its brand new Airbus fleet. Patel says the rebranding alone accounted for more than $14 million in expenses, and their finance cost increased by $33.6 million due to the addition of the 3 new planes. Fiji Airways CEO Stefan Pichler says the recently approved 5-year master plan sets the foundation for sustainable and profitable growth from now till the end of 2017. Pichler says it's an incredibly exciting time for the company as it gets ready to bring in new aircraft and introduce new routes. The company recorded a loss of $78.5 million in 2009, the biggest in its history. Fiji's international airline has certainly proven that it's now flying in clear skies. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Coming up, Bartown marks 75th anniversary.
Nambula FM rake tale taki.
Gonga elambasa Mbula FM namba 2 na sere.
Ndu tale taka na borong na Mbula FM namba 2 na sere su.
Au wetu graki au rebot juga ni stima. Au ndu tale taka na borong na Mbula.
Bola bina Fiji Mbula FM namba 2 singa toka.
Bola bina era roga Mbula FM namba 2 tikola.
Mbula FM namba 2 na sere.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. It was on this day on April 11th, 1939, just 5 months before the outbreak of World War II, when the Fijian colonial government proclaimed Ba a township. Today marked a historic moment for the soccer-crazy town as it turned 75 years old. Akusita Tale reports the icing on the cake was the opening of the Ba Civic Museum that reflects on its colorful past.
It was a typically beautiful Ba day to commemorate the contribution this influential town has made to our country's development over the last 75 years. The opening of a new museum, which is the first of its kind, truly reflects the people, places and events of importance to Ba.
I urge everyone, and especially our young people, to learn more about the story of Ba by visiting this place. I also hope that other cities and towns in Fiji consider setting up the same kind of facility to tell their own stories.
This is where the story of Ba is told through the various exhibits, a place where the history of Ba comes alive. The exhibits include a replica of the seal used by the then governor of Fiji, Sir Harry Luke, to officially proclaim Ba a township.
People need to feel a sense of belonging wherever they live, a town, a big city, or a nation. And part of that sense of belonging comes from knowing the story of where one lives and learning more about the lives of those who came before.
Ba has made many failed attempts at breaking into the tourism market. It's hoped the museum will now attract the elusive tourist to the town that is best known for its soccer.
And one of the great things about Ba is the never say die spirit of its people and the determination to bounce back. Its strong sense of community. Ba to Bahai.
The museum is also expected to be an educational resource center for the people of Ba. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
A newly drafted code of conduct for the Fiji Cancer Society is expected to end most of the society's troubles, such as the possibility of corruption and mismanagement of funds. This comes after all the society's accounts were frozen last year. Ellen Stolz has more.
Although the code of conduct is still awaiting approval from the society's trustees, Madam Nazat Shamim explains why this new addition to the society's structure increases transparency and prevents corruption.
And the code of conduct really deals with things like patient safety, relationship between staff members and the board, who gives instructions to the CEO, to whom is the CEO accountable. Can a trustee, for instance, give instructions to the CEO? And we've decided that we need to properly define that role, the reporting role and the role of each of these bodies. The other thing that the code of conduct has to deal with is corruption. Donor policies, what is the role of volunteers, to whom are volunteers accountable. All of these things are in the code of conduct.
Madam Shamim feels that in the future, the society may not even need branch offices.
So we're addressing the issue of whether we should have branch offices or whether we should simply allow the Cancer Society to have subcommittees operating and which are directly accountable only to Super Office.
Despite all the controversy, Madam Shamim says all the patients at the society are very well cared for. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
British film writer, director and producer Harry Freeland is in the country as part of the Islands in the World Oceania Film Festival. Josephine Navula caught up with the aspiring director today.
Harry Freeland's debut film is called In the Shadow of the Sun. At the film festival, he'll be sharing his experiences on what it takes to pursue one's passion.
I worked as a cameraman for about 10 years for TV in the UK, but this is my first feature documentary. And it was a long journey, because it was made over 6 years. For the first 3 years I had no money to make the film, and eventually took my material to broadcasters, to the BBC and PBS in America, who saw the material and wanted to fund the film.
The film tells of the tale of two inspiring albino men as they follow the dream in the face of severe prejudice and fear in Tanzania. The movie was filmed over 6 years as an escalation of murders against albinos that happens in the freaking country.
Witch doctors have been spreading the belief that albino body parts can make you rich and bring you good fortune. And they're severely discriminated against because of their white skin.
Meanwhile, film festival director Larry Thomas says Fijians who come to the film festival will be in for an experience rarely seen in Fiji.
I'd really encourage people to come to the festival. It's free of charge, so the festival starts at 9 a.m. each day and goes on till about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. We have 8 filmmakers who are here who are going to present their films and also have question and answers after the film. And the opportunity for members of the public to ask questions.
This is the second film festival held at the Japan ICT Center at USP in Suva. The aspiring filmmakers will be able to pick the brains of the experts from the world over to learn the trick of the trade. Josephine Nawula, FBC News.
Around 1,300 students graduated with their certificates, diplomas, bachelor and postgraduate degrees at the University of the South Pacific this morning. For the graduates, it was just reward for years of hard work. Speaking at the graduation ceremony, USP Vice-Chancellor Professor Rajesh Chandra congratulated the graduates and told them to be ready for the challenges ahead. He says the graduates have a long way to go in building successful careers and being successful in life. Friday Night Sports now. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening. In sports tonight, Day 1 results from the Nawaka Sevens as the big names record big wins and the latest from the OFC Champions League. Stay with us for more.
Gold FM is #1 here in Sigatoka.
Gold FM is our favorite radio station here in Lautoka.
Gold FM is #1 in Nel.
I love listening to Gold FM in Ba.
We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits here in Suva.
Hear about Batu Cola, you immediately think of gold. I'm Josephine Sabi and I love hearing Gold FM.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. First up tonight, the Nandi football team can kiss the OFC Champions League goodbye after losing to Vanuatu's Amical FC 6-0 at Churchill Park minutes ago. Indiscipline let the Green Machine down as they were brought to 9 men following 2 red cards. Here are the goals.
Played quickly, and that was the one they were waiting for. And that's the Djokovic, Marco. The Amical players were waiting for that. And they played across Jack Whitney following through. And Milan, this time Nikola Vasilic will make no mistake. Candy, and as I said, it was coming. Kansas Tangasi want to quickly take it. It's a goal. And it's a goal. Yes, it is. The referee had signaled it because Nandi didn't guess. And Tangis gets the goal. That's the coach. And Milan looking at breakthrough again, Nicola. Hat-trick.
After day 5 matches of the OFC Championship, Auckland City has one foot in the semi-finals after beating Tahiti's AS Dragon 3-0 in Lautoka today. The New Zealanders outclassed the Tahitians to top their group with 2 days to rest before facing Vanuatu's Amical FC on Monday. Elena McDonald reports.
Pritchett hits the near post. It's
Auckland City, just like Bar, remain unbeaten in the OFC Champions League and ready to book their semi-final berth. The Kiwis are the top favourites in the championship, and it's no wonder, looking at the goals scored today.
Well, we basically dominated the first half, and then obviously after scoring the game, it got a little bit open, and we capitalised on that as well. So we knew that we could expect 2 different versions of Dragon, and I think we played a good game according to the circumstances today, so we are happy, of course.
Following a good win, there's just one thing on the Auckland footballers' minds for now.
First thing is recover from the heat, and then we'll see what happens now in the next game. Obviously, that's going to condition our last game, but obviously think about what we can do to counter-attack Mikale's strengths.
This weekend's games will reveal which top 4 teams qualify for the semi-finals next week. No doubt Auckland City will be in that final mix. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
There was no holding back for the big names on day 1 of the Fiji Bitter Nawaka Sevens, where the top contenders all recorded convincing wins. National Sevens coach Ben Ryan is now anxious to see if these sides can maintain the momentum tomorrow in the eliminations. Charlie Ndautakadaka has more.
Yamadea Red notched the biggest opening day score with a 44-0 victory over Wuninu Barbers.
Defending champions Westfield Barbers, Wardens and Police also breezed through their pool games. Meanwhile, watching from the sidelines was national coach Ben Ryan.
The other big teams haven't lost either, and it's not really till tomorrow that you really push the fast forward button. So no, everyone, I guess there's been no upset so far.
Ryan was able to pick up on some weaknesses that teams may want to polish up on.
Defensive shape from most of the teams, a bit too much over chasing, and set pieces. There's not too much time spent on that, but open play has been good, and yeah, the skill levels are good, and it's a hard day, it's really hot, and the boys are all trying their best, so there'll be some tired legs there tomorrow.
Today's game saw a lot of mismatches in the opening round, and the top teams come through unscathed. Tomorrow may see a different story when teams battle each other for top spot and the $10,000 prize money. Chalendo Takatak, FBC Sports.
New champions will be crowned at tomorrow's Vodafone Fiji Secondary Schools Rugby League Finals at Lawanga Park in Singatoka. Nasinu Secondary and Ratunavula will battle for the top spot in the under-15 and under-17 grades, but much focus will be on the under-19s, where Bar Provincial faces off with league newbies, Nabosa Central.
Champions in their own right. They are not new to the game, since they are not defending, which means that one of them will be crowned the new champ for 2014.
Nabosa Central will have an edge over Bar Provincial in the seniors final with their home crowd support. And as promised by sponsors Vodafone, each of the teams in the finals has received new jerseys. Local cricketers are looking forward to playing Australian-based team, the Western Suburbs, in this year's Easter Championship in Suva. The competition begins Monday and local teams are keen to learn from the visitors.
This is the second time the Western Suburbs are involved, and we're very grateful to have them part of it as well. It lifts the standard of the competition as well, challenges our players against foreign players, and it's something we can gauge our players on, something they can gauge themselves on. We're very happy to have Western Suburbs travel down this year, and we look forward to having more teams in the upcoming years.
7 local clubs, including teams from Oneilau, Lakemba and Mothe, will battle it out at Albert Park during the 10-day event. They'll be watching to see what they can learn from the overseas entry. But the real action is expected when the Suva Warriors defend their title against other top sides such as the Crusaders, Cricket Fiji Invitational and the West Tigers. And that was your sports for tonight. Good evening.
The Consumer Council of Fiji says people need to be smart during the special sale and promotions in the build-up to Easter weekend. Chief Executive Pramila Kumar says Fijians must critically analyse the advertisements, promotions and discounts before forking out their hard-earned cash. There have been a number of complaints in recent weeks over enticing and misleading promotions. Kumar says shoppers often end up being duped with defective products or charged higher prices. And it's weather time with Jen.
Thanks, Jackie. Let's get to it. Well, for most major centres, there was fine weather in the morning and the afternoon, with the capital and the beautiful Hidden Paradise being the exception. They had showers and thunderstorms later in the day. Compared to Death Valley, California, however, it was a walk in the park for us. They experienced a smoldering 129 degrees Celsius. Really living up to the name. Temperatures for the major centres were not too far from each other. Suva, Nadi and Savusavu were at 30 degrees Celsius. Bar and Lambasa were at 32, while Lautoka was the only one at 31. Looking at tomorrow's conditions, it's sunshine galore for most places. Lambasa and the Western Division will enjoy fine weather from the morning till the afternoon, while Suva and Savusavu will be fine in the morning with clouds and showers in the afternoon. Now, this is a photo taken here in Suva along the Queen Elizabeth Drive. Look at those cloudy skies. Well, on that note, you have yourselves a lovely evening and be sure to tune in again for Monday weather.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. The headlines once again. Mahendra Chaudhry is still FLP leader. Methodist Church draws the line on politics, and Fiji Airways makes more profit. This week's poll question we're asking, should there be price control on the rental of residential properties? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's FBC News tonight. I'm Rita, joins you tomorrow for the weekend news. I'll be back again on Monday. Till then, you have yourselves a safe and enjoyable weekend. Ni modamanda, good night.
Ito singa to kuno talita na baro nga radio Fijuan na station gal mo to.
Ako na poro ko na talita. Mandaw talita kini na baro radio Fijuan.
Kitongo isu untuk talita na baro nga radio Fijuan station gal mo to.
Kito talita kana radio Fijuan. Na radio Fijuan ento talita kita nga sintoka.
Station ni Machino Pinatia na radio Fijuan kwa beyan.
Na Radio Fijuan nandu mo ibitin bonga ni BNN.